Okay, so I decided to design UI. Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of the MJD Newsletter podcast. I'm Joy and I am so excited that you're here. Well, today I'm going to talk about something really interesting and something that I recently learned, and I would love to share my journey with you. So, it's been a while since the lockdown has ended and the schools have started and all those stuff. But there was this thing that I really appreciated to do. Basically, I used to sketch at the back of my notebooks, and that was actually sketching mobile app designs. And for some time, I was like, well, I actually do this for fun, it's good, but I never knew what this thing actually is. So I kind of did my research, and then I came to know that it's actually UI design. So, yeah, I guess that's it. So, today I wanted to talk about the best UI design app that beginners can use, something that I use, and also actually going to share my personal journey with UI design. So, what is actually design, and basically what is UI design? So you might be wondering, like, it has to do something with like maybe drawing and art. Well, that is, some part of that is true, but actually that is not UI design. UI design is basically the structure and like the elements and the organization, basically the design of a mobile app or a tablet or a PC maybe, and that just when all of these things come together, it becomes UI. So this thing really started, and I actually didn't know that it's called UI design. I should have done my research back then, but I used to love to sketch these things. And my interest for mobile app design, and basically my love for mobile design, started during the pandemic. When the lockdown hit, everything was closed. People were so scared about COVID, and you know, I used to have a lot of free time at home. And just like everyone else, my lockdown was not productive at all. I used to watch Netflix and Amazon basically all day, and there were online classes which I obviously didn't attend. So there was a lot of free time back then, and the time of COVID is when I really started using technology. Like, I would love to use tech products and basically apps and everything in between, and I really loved how applications worked. So I remember one time listening music on Spotify, and I noticed the beauty of the Spotify mobile app. If you just go on and open Spotify, hope you're listening on Spotify, please hit the follow button. So, for example, you are going on Spotify. If you just notice the way the player looks, the buttons and how the buttons actually adapt to the screen size, and how the playlists are designed, the spacing in between of the playlists, and actually a lot of stuff in between. All these things really, really excited me. When I used to look on to apps like Spotify, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, or any app in general, I started noticing the structure of design. I actually began to observe. And when I began to observe, my love for mobile design started. I love the way the applications that were designed and well planned had this design with structure, which showed authenticity, realness, and trust, which I believe is really important. So, after all of these things, I absolutely knew that I love UI design and I need to do it. So, I knew I wanted to do this, and then I started my research. I went on to Google, and I remember I kind of searched like mobile design or phone app design, something like that. And then there's this term called UI that popped up. Oh wow, the name actually sounds pretty cool. User interface. that actually has this thing to it. And the definition really excited me. I was like, wow, man, I used to use products and I have been using apps for so long and I never thought about the design. I always, when I used to, kind of unconsciously try to understand UI design, I would kind of focus on, oh yeah, this website is easier to use. Nah, that is too cluttered. I cannot actually read what there is in that website. And questions like this used to kind of help me with my intuition of what website is good and what design kind of qualifies as good design. But then I was kind of like, all right, now we need to get this thing straight. And this website is good, that is not. Spotify is good, another music application. I don't like its design, but it's good anyway. So that really helped the a definition, and then as I talked about the structure and authenticity, it really helped me get sense of what I want to design and what design actually is, not what I want to design, because I used to do a lot of sketching in my notebook. And then I opened my books again and started to sketch UI. I used to usually do it at the back of the page, but later I kind of bought myself a new notebook where I would keep that for which I would keep for absolutely designing. Then I created some concepts, just some minor concepts, like not a huge app with all the pages and everything in that. It was just like a little bit of a concept, and where I talked about, I sorry, where I drew like a design of BBC iPlayer, which is like a streaming app in the UK. And then I created another concept for Audible, basically the home page. One thing about streaming apps is that in their homepage at the top, the way like they showcase their content and the way they promote it, that that really appeals to me, and I find it really stimulating, stimulating by design. And then I also actually created a concept for TV broadcasting software, something that maybe National Geographic would use to broadcast its TV shows. I knew absolutely nothing about how TV broadcasting softwares work, but I kind of used my intuition and guess and thinking what would give a really nice user performance, and then I kind of made it on my way. And then I also made an app for watching the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Well, that was unexpected. I knew I was watching my TV and I turned on the TV, I switched onto the sports channel, which is Sony, Sony 10-1, I believe, and I went there and I really liked the way like people were playing games, and I was like, it would be really interesting to make sure that there is an app to watch this. And there was an app actually. So I opened that app and I didn't like the UI of that app. But then I was like, all right, fine. I'm going to create an own page. So I was kind of trying to satisfy myself, and I took my book, the sketchbook, for UI as usual. And then I just started to make rough sketches. And I remember I made this a small section for sports, and then I made another for the live sports that are going on. I made one for the schedule, and all of that and some information of all of that sections were like kind of made into a card where there was some shown there, and then it was like more, click here for more. And it was a card in which I made the complete homepage in which someone would want to watch the Tokyo Olympics. And then when you would scroll down, there was this I remember a kind of a horizontal scroll where you could select the sports you want, which was kind of a circular background, and the sport, for example, if someone wants to watch bicycling, then there would be a cycle with a man sitting on it, something like that. And I actually really like the way sport events are broadcasted, like the animations and the UI in which they show the score, the animation in which they show how much time is left, what are the points, which players are playing, the different types of camera angles they take. I actually don't know how to play football. I know a little bit of cricket, but I'm not really good at it. And when I watch sports, I don't really watch sports for the sake of watching sports. I actually watch it to see the way the animations are created and the way the UI is of the broadcasting, and how the and what camera angle are they clicking for. That's what I'm always gravitated towards. So the fact that I was actually designing these things, that was really great. And by the way, I actually started to design the UI back then I didn't knew that it's called UI, but the UI for showing cricket scores in a live team. That was really interesting. Maybe we'll talk about that more. I think I still have the sketches, but I need to find it. I knew I could create good concepts, at least I believed. So I asked myself, why am I not actually learning this? Well, you might have noticed that I talked a lot about sketching, and sketching is not really what UI design is it? Sketching is more of kind of brainstorming ideas, but real UI design is kind of opening your laptop and picking up a mouse and just starting to design on the artboard. I don't know what we call it. The open space. Come on, the open space, and like the rectangle inside the frame of the phone. That's what I believe is UI design, and that actually is what it. So I decided that I wanted to learn UI professionally, and I wanted to see and understand the way real designers create concepts and hand it off to developers for making the concept real. So this time, my research was more specific. I wanted to know how to actually create UI in a computer professionally. And then I came across a lot of apps like Adobe XD, Figma. These were the apps that were completely foreign to me. I finally decided to open Figma because it was free. I had some experience with Canva before, so I was like, I could use my intuition. But then I faced some issues. I remember the first time when I opened Figma, I absolutely had no idea of what I am doing. I wasn't able to create a frame. I was just kind of guessing, okay, this would do this would do this. My experience on Canva was not professional at all. I used to just edit from templates, but still I had a good understanding of what Canva is and how to design on Canva. And by the time I started to use Figma, I was really good at Canva, but the features were different. That was more of a prototyping tool, and Canva was kind of more like drag and drop and stuff. So this was really interesting, and I actually later found out that Canva and Figma really similar, and that kind of contradicted my belief that I had before that Figma is going to be different, but Figma is not. So one thing that I would really recommend if you're starting out UI design is to go with Figma, because Figma is one of the best tools that you could find. It's free, and you also have some really nice educational plans available. So if you're a student teacher, you would really get some nice discounts there, and I believe it's basically for free, and it's very exciting to create designs on Figma, and it's really powerful. Another thing I really liked about Figma is that it's completely web-based, so your work is saved always and you can access it from literally anywhere. You don't have to carry any kind of flash drives or something. You don't have to check your email or drive to download design files and save them. It's already synced right there on your phone, it's already synced right there on your computer, and you can open it whenever you want actually. And you can also invite others to collaborate, which is a really great thing. And something that Figma says is that nothing great is created alone. I really like that. And then I decided to, okay, back to the journey. I decided to watch some YouTube videos. I took a little course. It was like a one-day course in which they talked about the basics of UI design. So I kind of knew that, okay, this is a frame. Okay, fine. I have to use this fonts, right? The font size should not be smaller than that. I need to have like this 16 pixels of gap between this and that, or 8 pixels of gap between this and that. So I knew that I have to have this many pixels of gap between this. I need to have the space for this elements. I need to keep appropriate spacing. I need to follow these rules and proximity and, you know, all those things. So that course actually helped me to get started. I remember when the score started, we created an app for selling watches actually, and it was an app where we sold like real expensive Rolex watches, and I was like, whoa, that is pretty expensive. So that was all about the stuff we created. On those course, it wasn't a lot of time, so we kind of only like made kind of like 2 pages for the apps. So the first one was the product page for the Rolex watch, and I believe that well, not believe actually, I kind of noticed that e-commerce apps can teach you a lot about UI design. For example, you can experiment with animations when you want to like maybe select a different model of the same product. I'm sorry, a different color of the same product, or maybe a different type of the same product. Like if you want a red color and it's currently selected to blue, if you click on red, it's going to go to the red. So you kind of learn about those animations, you learn about buttons, you learn about creating CTAs, and also the address page, which was actually very exciting, and I really enjoyed doing that. So when the course ended, I kind of created some more concepts, and then it was pretty fun to use. And then I started to use more of Figma. You can design whatever you want, and it's really fast, efficient, and very intuitive. When I first started using Figma, it wasn't that intuitive for me, but later as I became more familiar with it, it became easier and easier, and now I absolutely love the app. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and if you liked this episode, please hit a follow on Spotify. It really helps the show to grow and reach out to more people, and I hope that you would listen to future episodes. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Bye.